Memphis exceeded all expectations in his rookie season, which will almost certainly result in a Rookie of the Year award for Ja. Is he really the next Russell Westbrook, and how did he achieve his success? Fast, intelligent, and explosive, Ja Morant was the star of the 2019 March Madness for Murray State University and became the second pick in the 2019 NBA Draft. The top 10 Ja Morant facts are shown here. Ja Morant was accidentally discovered by Murray State in high school. He was only 6 feet tall, had a wiry 160-pound frame, and looked like any other skinny kid who could hope but probably wouldn't make it due to a lack of size. Despite this, he averaged 27 points, 8 rebounds, and 8 assists per game in his junior and senior years. His transcendental talent wasn't recognized by many. He had only one college offer from a major Division I program, South Carolina, who viewed him as a backup point guard. Then, in a movie like Plot, his basketball future will be decided by a complete coincidence. James Kane, the assistant coach at Murray State, went to a basketball camp on a scouting mission while looking to see the next great talent. King got hungry and went to buy some snacks. While he was standing in line for food, he got a good view of the auxiliary court where he saw one kid who was faster than everybody else. K bought the food and remained watching that other court. About 10 minutes later, he was convinced that he found the talent he wanted and that Murray State could get one of the best point guards in the country. Morant and his family accepted the scholarship, and the rest was history. He has a girlfriend and a daughter. 2019 was undoubtedly the biggest year of Ja Morant's life. Not only did he lead the Murray State Racers to March Madness and got drafted by the Grizzlies with the second pick, he also became a father. His longtime girlfriend KK Dixon gave birth to a daughter, Kyrie. It wasn't without complications, as Kyrie was born 2 months before the due date, and thus she had to stay in the hospital for a month before going home. Considering her father is one of the most athletic NBA players and her mom was a standout basketball and volleyball player, little Kyrie has a bright athletic future as well. He played AAU ball with Zion Williamson. Zion and Ja Morant were the first 2 picks of the 2019 NBA Draft, and it became national news that the 2 lottery picks were AAU teammates in high school. Zion and Ja lived an hour and a half driving distance away from each other, and their AAU team was somewhere in the middle. Back then, 14-year-old Zion and 15-year-old Morant were nowhere near their current capabilities.
Not even close, baby.
Zion was a shy kid who didn't socialize much with his teammates, and his athleticism didn't kick in yet. The rent was already fast, but he was 5'9" and could easily be overpowered by stronger players. Zion and Ja remembered this time ultimately during the draft process, and one of those started from the bottom. Now we hear situations. His dad was his major coach and hater. It helps if someone in your family is a professional athlete if you have NBA aspirations. A high school chemistry teacher can have the same credibility to push you around like someone who's going through the same trenches you are trying to go through. Ja Morant had that love to have a father with pro basketball experience, and his dad, T. Morant, was not going easy on his son. His pops was his harshest critic and never accepted mediocrity from Ja. T himself almost became an NBA player and played some pro basketball overseas. When his son started playing basketball team, Morant did everything in his power to see the Morant name in the NBA and fulfill his dreams through his son. Luckily, Ja was dealing well with the criticism and motivated him to get better when he was getting drafted. Ja said he didn't mind the doubters and the naysayers because his dad was his first and biggest hater, and if he could take it from him, he can take it from everyone else. His dad played high school ball with Ray Allen. Just like Ja, T. Morant was a fast and athletic point guard who had a promising basketball career and needed just a bit more luck to become an NBA player. But Rhett Sr. played high school basketball alongside Ray Allen at Hillcrest High in South Carolina. Ellen, the biggest star on the team, went on to the University of Connecticut, and Morant chose the smaller local school Claflin University after uni to rent, gave NBA a shot, and worked in training camps with several teams. However, he wasn't able to secure a roster spot, and after a short stint internationally, his wife got pregnant with Morant and decided to drop basketball altogether and chose a career as a barber to have a steady income for his family. Ja was always inspired to work extra hard since he wouldn't be where he is today without his father, who gave up his basketball goals to raise him. Until his senior year of high school, Ja was unable to dunk. NBA scouts became enamored with Morant after a few Westbrook-esque dunks in his second year at Murray State, and when they found out that the pogo stick athleticism is attached to creative and surgical passing ability, his draft stock exploded in a short amount of time. Morant went from an anonymous little school point guard to the #1 barred prospect in the country. However, nobody could have guessed that outcome if they watched Morant in high school, considering he was a scrawny 6'0" G. When he reached his peak height of 6'3" in New York, he was able to dunk and outmuscle everyone. At that point, the thrilling, rim-rattling dunking became a routine part of his profession. Morant has another basketball and personal role model in this corner in addition to his father. It was his cousin Trey Beverly, who was 9 years older than Ja, who was also a former basketball player. Trey played college basketball at Lamar Community College and Lenoir Ryan University, where he received a bachelor's in marketing and sales. Trey and Ja shared a special bond, and Beverly always encouraged his younger cousin to strive for his dreams. Trey was an avid motorcycle fan, and he had a YouTube account devoted to bikes and riding. Unfortunately, in 2017, a careless driver had cut into his lane and Trey didn't survive the collision. When Ja was drafted, he finished one of his interviews with the sentence, "Long live Trey," because his cousin always believed Ja would make it to the NBA someday. Murray State retired his jersey. Murray State does not have a big basketball program, and the March Madness tournament is not a given for the Racers. Still, when Ja Morant orchestrated their offense, his top flight scoring and playmaking combo translated to team success. They reached the tournament and both of his years at Racer, and he was the main reason for the 2019 upset of Fitzhugh Market and reaching the Sweet 16. Morant was the only player in NCAA history to average 20 points and 10 assists for the season and was named the consensus All-American as a sophomore as a second pick in the NBA draft. He is by far the best player that came out of Murray State for his efforts and the national recognition he brought to their basketball program. Murray State decided to retire his number 12 jersey. His family still lives with him. The Morants are one of those families that do everything together. After the March Madness finished and it became clear Ja was going to be a top 3 pick and become a millionaire, the question of living arrangements arose when his father asked where and how he would like to live. And Ja unexpectedly says that wherever he ends up, he expects his family to move in with him under the same roof. His father asked, "Yes, I don't know how to run a house," Ja replied. After he was drafted to Memphis, the whole family moved to Tennessee with jobs, including his parents and sister Tina, his girlfriend and daughter, and also his aunt and uncle. In order for him to fully concentrate on basketball, the Morant family makes an effort to make things as simple as possible at home. He no longer has a curfew, which is the only difference from his high school days. Ja Morant made the decision to stick with Nike, the brand he wore for the majority of his amateur career, in contrast to some of the players of his generation who chose labels like Puma, Converse, or New Balance. He didn't even want to meet with other brands. Morant signed a multi-year, multi-million-dollar deal with the brand and joined a large fleet of NBA players who are also endorsed by Nike.